Hey one, hey all, welcome back to the channel, and today I'm looking at something that I didn't intend to look at and I wasn't going to get until I gave it some thought, and I have it for a very specific reason. Of course, I'm talking about Core Class Hot Rod, and he's going to be our focus this time around in the latest GotBot True review. Hey one, hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course subscribe, and while you're at it, light 'em up, baby. And hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton, and I'll let you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that in the description down below. Also in the description down below. And if you are in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. You can check us out on Patreon. You can see what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course, you can hit the join button right here on YouTube and become a channel member. Now, I wasn't going to get the Core Class Hot Rod. I didn't see the point of having it. I didn't see the point in getting it or its existence until I gave it some thought. Now, don't get me wrong. Somebody who collects legends or cores might look at this and say, hey, that's the hot rod I've been waiting for. I get that. I understand why you might choose this as your hot rod for that, but I have a different purpose for the guy. I just hope that he's actually a decent transformer anyway. We shall see, because we're about to head over to the table and take a closer look at this guy. And so, yes, we have rounded out the deluxes that I'm getting for Kingdom, and the Voyagers, and the Commander class, and the Titan class, and whatever leader class I was gonna get. Same goes now for Core class. I didn't get a lot of these, but I did actually want Hot Rod. At first I didn't. At first I really didn't. I didn't see the point. But then I thought about it, and I want this guy for a very specific reason. But before we get into him and that reason, we have to take a look at that packaging first. And we have nice enough packaging. I don't have any issue with this at all. It's a nice card back. We have Hot Rod up there in his robot mode. You'll notice what he's holding. Yes, it's his sword thing, but he's holding it with the, I don't know what you call it, the fork that comes with Skywarp and Legacy. So this is one of those instances where kind of part of the next line, next gimmick or whatever, is being kind of shown at the tail end of Kingdom. We've seen this before, right? We've seen it before with, for example, when we had Buzzsaw released as part of Combiner Wars, and really he was meant to go with the Titans Return Soundwave, for example. We've seen it other times, but there's one example. So yeah, this is definitely meant to have these pieces kind of go together. His sword, that piece from Skywarp, I think there might be another part that they've already identified connects with it, and it gives you this bigger sword thing. I don't know. Energon sword. I don't know. On the back, of course, we have our product images. I mean, they are what they are. We've got instructions, and they are just fine. The only thing that I can't seem to find in the instructions, and perhaps it doesn't exist, is I don't see a way to store the sword in robot mode other than in Hot Rod's hand. There gotta be a better way than that, I would think, man, but I'm not seeing it, and here they just show it going into his hand. Speaking of said sword, here it is, kind of an Allspark blue type of color, painted over red plastic is what it seems to be. Sort of reminiscent of like the Master Sword, except, you know, tiny. And here we have Hot Rod with his sword. If there's one thing I've learned over the years, it's that red is a nuisance to try and get to focus. If this goes out of focus, man, I apologize. I'm doing the best I can for you, for sure. So in terms of being a Hot Rod, what about the paint apps? I don't, like, it's obviously Hot Rod. We have the like base red color, which is arguably not accurate. Some would say it should be more magenta than red. I'm okay with the red. I'm fine with it, so I'm not going to mark him down for that. Then we have the head. That's fine. We're missing a little gray piece right up on the crest, but I mean, look how tiny this thing is. Of course, on his forearms above his hands, we don't have the orange and yellow detailing that we should have. The hands are red instead of being the gray that they should be. As we go down the body, the torso is orange with the yellow flame and an Autobot logo, all paint. So I like that. His face and his eyes, they're painted nicely. Lots of paint there. The thighs here are painted like orange on the front of the thigh, but they're basically red instead of being like orange all the way on the thigh, the knee, and the like upper calf shin region. The lower legs have the molded in detail that Hot Rod should have, but not the gray. This is closer to the look for the guy for his like toy mode, let's say. Now, that being said, while I say all that, I actually kind of grade this guy a little bit different. You see, there's a MicroMaster Hot Rod from a long time ago. And this is, to me, an homage to that MicroMaster Hot Rod, because I totally intend for this guy to go with Star Convoy. This is better than that. That had the spoiler that would fold down and become part of the like feet, and his like legs were yellow. He wasn't great, but the upper body and the all red arms is an homage to that. So in terms of a Hot Rod, because I'm drawing from different inspirations here, I'm going to say that it's all right. I'm going to give it an 8. I'm going to say it's a solid 8. It's far from perfect for a Hot Rod, but you definitely know who it is. What about the articulation for the guy? Well, the articulation is a head that goes left and right. Then we have these shoulder pieces. They can come up about that far before it really starts hitting into the head. And they can come down, but man, oh man, this gets in the way back here. But we're going to deal with that in a second and make this better. That can go all the way around. We have an elbow to 90 degrees. Because of the ball joint, we get a bicep swivel. Nothing, of course, at the wrist. I'm going to take that sword out of his hand for now, too. No waist, but I mean, not really a shock there. The legs can go forward. The legs can go back. Knee to 90 degrees or so. Swivel, I guess because of the ball joint. Yeah, because of the ball joint, swivel. And that's about it. I mean, it's your standard fare. Again, it's about an 8 or so. Now, that being said, I was wondering what to do with the sword. So what I've done, it seems like a good idea to me. By the way, look how hollow the back of that head is. Like, yikes. That is something. So I bring this down, and then I take this off and bring it out here and put it in out here. Now, I'm not going to lie. Though I said the instructions look pretty good, I only glanced at them. I have not used the instructions for this transformation. I don't know. Maybe I'm supposed to do this, but I haven't done it. But I like that because that way there's a freer motion for the shoulder, especially when you pick it up. It can go kind of behind his head now, so you get much more movement. And because of this red peg that we would use in vehicle mode, we can now take the sword, if we don't want it in his hand, and using a peg hole that's on the sword, if I can find it there now, we can put the sword on his back, and I'm okay with that. So decent storage for the sword as far as I'm concerned, even though it does make him makes that body, man, kinda sorta thick, you know? But that being said, really, you can do most everything. Oh, I don't know if I said this, but all the way out to the side. And I guess while there's no ankle tilt, like, because of transformation, the leg can do that. So if you want to kind of fake a tilt, you can sort of kind of do it. You're breaking the sculpt a bit, but you can sort of kind of do it. Honestly, for the articulation, again, I'm going to give it about an 8 for what it is. Of course, my intention is for him to go with my Generations Selects Star Convoy. This makes me happy. I mean, yes, the Hot Rod is still a little bit big, but honestly, considering the original MicroMaster came with Star Convoy, the original Star Convoy, like, yeah, man, I'm cool with this. So far, this little lad is a solid 8. I don't have any gripes against him. He's not going to work with a mainline collection because he's so small, but he certainly works for a Legends collection, and he certainly works with Star Convoy. And let's do the transformation. Solid 8 so far. So I'm going to take the sword off for now. I'm going to bring down that back piece, and I'm actually going to pop out the spoiler and put it right back on where it was. I'm going to take the arms and straighten them out, and then you bring them up at that shoulder hinge. When you bring them up, there's actually a little peg on the inside of the arm that goes into a slot on the side of the body. So we bring those up on the sides. Then we bring the leg up, right? We sort of combine or wars it out, right? We bring it out and up. Then, and I think this is sort of kind of genius. I think I love it. We bring up the, like, I guess the roof and the windshield and the hood section. That's all folded onto the leg, but it folds up nicely on the leg for the most part. I just hit that spoiler, but that's okay. That's my own fault. Now I'm going to take that and put that spoiler right back in there. We bring these pieces here together. We certainly should be able to bring these pieces here together. And then we should be able to bring the whole thing down front and snap it in between the hood. Then these two rectangular tabs, I guess, go down into slots right here and right here. And once we have that down and we bring that in, we should be able to now to work on just solidifying all of this just a little bit. Get the, like, the gappage out of the way. I gotta clean it up a bit, but basically, boom, in the end here you have Hot Rod in his vehicle mode. And not bad, not bad. A neat little transformation. I actually really like it. I'm gonna give the transformation a 10. Honestly, this is a nifty little Hot Rod. Again, I would not get this if I just wanted a Hot Rod. I would not get this unless I was a Legends collector. And I would not get this for any other reason than to go with my Star Convoy. Otherwise, it wouldn't be for me. But if it's for you, if you're getting it to go with your Star Convoy, if you're a Legends collector, if you just like Hot Rod that much that you want every iteration of them, this is a solid little entry. The sword, it can go on the peg up top, or there's a port in the very front. You can slide it in the port and have the whole thing kind of flat and, you know, it's all just sort of down here. He rolls just fine. I don't have a problem with this, but of course, for me, the pièce de résistance with all of this is this. This is why I got this Hot Rod. This is why I wanted this Hot Rod. Star Convoy, as we know, Bob writes, is gigantic. Hot Rod is normal sized. And I like this. This works for me. I think that this is now like a decent updated set. For a lot of people, this is still too small and not right, but it fills the bill for me. As a part of the Generations Star Convoy set, I think this Hot Rod fits right in. As a standalone Hot Rod, overall, I think it's about a 9. It is a solid little core class addition. And here we are, once again, and here he is, and okay, so a few things to note here. First, in terms of looking like Hot Rod, like, it's unmistakable that it's Hot Rod, but it's definitely got some stylized coloration and a lot more red than he's supposed to traditionally have. But I'm cool with that because the guy's pretty small. The sword thing is a weird accessory, especially since he doesn't have a blaster. Obviously, it's part of something bigger. I don't know why the Commander class Rodimus Prime came with a sword either. I don't know this Regeneration 1 stuff. I think that's what the reference to the sword is too. I don't know. Anyway, the articulation is pretty good. Now the shoulders are real tight on my copy. Like, at first I was scared to move them, afraid I would snap the shoulder peg off. There seems to be little screws back there. Maybe I could unscrew that ever so slightly. Although the more I work them, the more they seem to be okay. It's interesting that he's as functional as he is for as small as he is. Then we get to the transformation. I think it's kind of a brilliant transformation. Great. Then we get to the transformation, and it's kind of a brilliant transformation, honestly. Oh, Tessa, do you have to do that now? And here we are, and here he is once again. And so first things first, in terms of his looks, like, you know, it's Hot Rod, but it's definitely kind of stylized. There's a lot more red hair than it should be. Feels kind of Cyberverse-ish in that regard. But the paint that's here, there's a ton of it and it's done well, so I respect that. Then we get to the articulation, pretty good. My shoulders were real tight at first. There's screws back there. I guess you could loosen them a little bit, but mine seemed like the shoulders seemed to be loosening up a bit over time. Then we get to the transformation. Kind of brilliant for how small this guy is. I sort of love it, to be honest with you. But I'm not going to lie. I would not have bothered getting this guy except for the fact that I explicitly wanted him to go with my Generations Selects Star Convoy as the Micromaster Rodimus, or Hot Rod, that came with the original Star Convoy. So it fills a very specific niche for me. I understand getting this if you have that Star Convoy. I understand getting this if you are a Legends collector. I don't know. I guess I understand getting it if you're a huge fan of Hot Rod / Rodimus. I don't, like, it's a weird addition to put in at this size class to me. But luckily, I've actually wanted a smaller Rodimus or Hot Rod for a long time to go with that Star Convoy. So I feel sort of vindicated and sort of rewarded by having this little lad. I'm just lucky that he happens to be a pretty good Hot Rod at that anyway. Let me know what you think about Core Class Hot Rod. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we offer to you through Teespring. Or of course, hit the join button right here on YouTube and become a channel member. Don't forget, man, that somehow, some way, each and every single solitary day, you right there, you do make a difference. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres or the old fashioned way right here inside the videos.